All right, well, hello there tonight. I don't think that we will be really making anybody's day tonight. Um, I'm going to be testing. I need to, and I'm not very good at it. I don't exactly know what I'm doing yet. Yeah. And necessarily something. This is one lonely beggar trying to find. So, if you spend time with me while I learn some stuff, you're more than welcome. But I will quite understand if you decide to give this one a miss. Got a little bit of coffee in our Eeyore mug, so at least got that going for it. Water, hydrate. All right. So there's two frameworks that I kind of want to look at tonight, if you have time. I want to look at the testing framework Cypress. I also want to Playwright. Very new framework. It apparently one of the developers of a testing framework. Puppeteer. The Puppeteer developed by Google. That's a, and then a couple of the developers of that product have gone to Microsoft. They're now making a testing framework called Playwright. Puppeteer, right? Sounds pretty similar, right? In fact, Playwright is a fork of Puppeteer that has been developed on. Yeah, so it has its merits. Cypress has been around time. That's the other testing framework I'm looking at. I'm looking at Playwright and Cypress. Cypress has been around a while. It's got really good documentation, and on top of that, there's a lot of YouTube videos and Medium posts. All the stuff that comes with being a framework that's been around for a while. Whereas Playwright does not have the same intellectual property longevity in order to have the same level of documentation that Cypress has. Their default documentation, like the documentation right on their website, is very good. So I can't fault them there. There's just not as much Google stuff and all that kind of stuff. So first, we're going to finish writing a test that we started several weeks ago. Actually, probably a couple of months ago. We started an automated test to fill in our contact form on our search website. We started that in Cypress, so we have Cypress installed. It's all set up. It's ready to go. I've started the test, so we're just going to finish that up first, and then we're going to try to recreate the exact same test. Playwright. How it goes. All right, so here's where we left off with our Cypress test. A little arranging tonight. I'm gonna set that there. Our Cypress little window here, down here, because all we have to do is find the test that we want to have the actual test happening in this window. I know that's really small. I don't need that. Can we move this over? Doesn't look like it. But I know that's really small, but it should, let's just make it a little bit bigger. That should be big enough right there to see what we're doing. So let's move our windows over a little bit. Move this over some. All right, that will do for tonight. So the test that we have so far, what it does is it goes and it finds these fields. So it gets these fields using the class, and then it types some data into the first field, the first name field, and then it says that that field should have the value that we just typed. The email address, we do the same thing. So let's go ahead and do the same thing for this text input box. Say sty, that's the Cypress instance. Get, and we're going to get the contact text area. See what we called that one. Not the dashboard. There we go. What did we call this one? Gave all of them a class so that we could get them easy. Yeah, contact text. Then we're going to type message, and it should have the value. If we save that, we should now be typing into our text area. Cool. Last thing we need to do, well, one of the things we now need to do is we need to click submit. So I get put with a type need an input. Yep. And the input, the label, let's see if it should have on this an input with a types of label of, oh wait, we could just put it by the class. We can say contact it should, you don't care what this has because that, well, you can say this should have property submit. I think that passes. No, does not have a property. Maybe it's an attribute. Should have an attribute called label, which I'm not really sure what that tells us. And it contains Submit. Oh. Do another should? Should have value. Submit. Oh. And there's a lot of has. Value. Separate. Oh. If I'm reading, grab that. Oh, they've created and okay. No. We should just be able to say get input label, something like that. Get input label submit. Let's see if we just gotta get that. Oh, you can't get it that way. Okay. That's fine. Oh, wait, I didn't close this properly. Try that again. Oh. Input should have property. Maybe is the property actually the inner? Oh. Should have attribute table. Ah, we got it that time. Okay, so that's the syntax. Okay, so we got it, and it does have attribute label. Okay, try other things. A property. Right. So does. Good. Good. Okay. So once we get it, we need to click it. The last thing we need. So we find the input, and then we click it. Oh, failed because it requires a DOM element. Oh, we got the. Maybe. Uh, okay, we clicked it, and we got submit. We submitted it. We know that because we got the on successment. So let's repeat this test. You'll see that we get this. Now I want to make sure that we get the on success. So we're gonna go ahead and get that that div as well. So sci get, and I know that div happens to have a role called alert. Yep, we got it. Okay. And if it's correct, it should have well, actually, once we've gotten that, we need to find some so I know, but that know that that particular alert contains strong that has success, and that's what I want to check. I want to check, is there a strong that has success? So Cypress, you can say within this div that we found, it should contain somewhere this. I think that's how we do it. Yes. All right. So that is it. So if, granted, we're only testing S right now, could also test. So this is fills in form successful. We could also do a test in here, or if it's unsuccessful, we could test all of these error fields, all that kind of stuff, which should do at some point. But this gets the job done for just having a play with Cypress and starting to get a feel for what using it is like. It's simple, and it gets more complex when you start dealing with actual API calls, because this is pretty simple. You know, we're filling in a few fields, we're submitting it, and we're looking for our success notification. That's about as simple of a test as possibly run. All right, so now that we've done this the Cypress way, we're going to save this. Have a lot of okay, so much of this is boilerplate. All this getting started, I mean, it's nice to have, but I'll leave. Okay. And so we added Cypress. I added TypeScript support to Cypress to here. Put that separately. Submit that first. Moved console. Button. Rest of all right, the rest of the Cypress. So let's put it in. Cypress first. Right, and we're gonna ignore that one. Now, we've done our Cypress test. We now need to Playwright and bring that document. We'll probably have to just to work, right? All right, need to do that, but we're not going to use npm. Right here. Installed that. Should have done this. So I'm gonna do Playwright. That. Now let's check out a branch. Check out the branch. Playwright. Now let's do yarn add dev. This one will take longer. I haven't. I do like that it's TypeScript. That's cool. So we'll copy that test script. So we'll need to do npx playwright all, And what that does is, I've already done this, but if you hadn't done this, it goes ahead and installs 3 different browsers. It installs a Chromium browser, a Firefox browser, and a WebKit browser. Let's make a test folder. Top level. All this test. Yes. Folder called tests already. Okay, so Laravel has its own testings. Okay, let's call this, nope, not under tests. The top level called Playwright. Underneath that, we'll, ah man, we're probably gonna have to reconfigure something. So we'll probably need a configuration file now. Play dot config dot js. Yep. Slice it. Tell it what folder. Oh, let's just see what it does. MPX Playwright test. Where does it try to go? Huh. Goes into Cypress and tries to run Cypress tests. Okay. All right. Let's delete Cypress from this branch. Playwright tests. Let's create a new file in there called contact dot paste that. We'll paste the default getting started test in there just to see if it works. Clear this. Test ran and it passed. And we can also run this headed, which means that it should open a browser, run the test. And it did, but it flickered on the screen so fast. But Playwright does have a browser, so we can ask it to open the edcoc.s site. What I do wrong here? I think it's WebKit that crashed. Try Chromium. And this so far is my crash again. This so far is my biggest about Playwright. Playwright is supposed to platform testing, like its biggest kind of claim to fame is that it's supposed to work across Chromium, Firefox, and web. That Chromium's random Parker stuff into also delete some, or I know you're all right. So this test, so you can open the browser and we can see got it open using Chromium, but for whatever reason WebKit does not want to play ball. It just immediately crashes. Let's see if Firefox works. Firefox work okay. Right. But anyway, we ran our test. Let's try something. Navigate to our local test. /contact. Who we expect? We expect have text a 3-step contact right. And there's all cool, but that's fine because I didn't actually expect if that had actually worked, that would have just been a total fluke. All right. We need to check. Library document. Check. actually. So as jest is underlined. Yet. Okay. Locator and basic test. Have a page. So go to the page. Oh. Comment. If we got any. That passive. So what's the first thing we actually want to locate? Text. Find stuff by their class. So like contact. So we locate. Pick. I don't want to mess with. Type. Vector. Type. All right. We'll do the same. Actually, need to eat. Is that just happening? Happening exactly. Okay. So we type in a first name. Type in contact now. Take mail. Take and we'll do the same thing. Type contact text. Yeah. And await. Click. And we find the it. I think the type. Okay, that's so fast. Let's set time out. I have all X here. You just want to wait 5 seconds before it goes, so that we can actually look at the little, if the message comes up. Okay. So after. All right. Let's see if that keeps our up there for. Oh, it just goes. Wait. Oh, not gonna wait. There's got to be a way to wait. Let's find it. I mean, I'm all the testing being fast, but we gotta. Oh, wait a second. Like a. Page. Try that. All right. Oh, it paused. Actually pops up little box. Zoom it. All right. Oh. Hater. So I'm trying to find a div. Not out of it. Okay. Page dot look. Selector to use solving doc. Div. Thank you. Random. Kelly. I appreciate. Oh, unless that is. Thanks, I guess. Oh, okay. All right. It's still a little weird that you, but I'll let that go. Oh, that's good. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. Go ahead and own that. Uh, L. still. And the weirdest part, okay, let me show you what happened. Know that that's not there. Not. So the one thing I would say immediately, having started working with Playwright, it's a whole lot Cypress. I'm I'm totally as whether this actually. don't think. Test generator, what that does. So Playwright and so what the code gen does. So what the but so code gen and it will wait for me to do. So I click in this box, just click placeholder. Okay, and then I say there. XD. Cool. So that's kind of what I needed. I don't want to click success. I just want to know that success is. But if I wanted to, I could now stop recording. I could copy this code and I could just paste it in here. Go ahead and do that in, save it, close the code gen, and run the test. Test. So, okay, that is a. But the thing is, this is not necessarily good because there's a okay way to find these, but you might want to find them by the class was how I was finding them, but I know I'm not. I don't really want to click text test. I want to wait for I just want to wait and that's telling. Headless passes. Nope, see. Hanging on. Eventually, LS. So I close the. close the page. Yeah, well, you know, I don't really want to take up company time learning this. I want to get to work and actually get it done. So, you know, I get to do my church work right now and learn something at the same time. So, it's a win-win. Win-win. Don't actually know what to do about that hanging other brain. Okay. Wait. Fact. Yeah, that'll be good, man. Good. I always. Yeah, pen testing is a big. Fact. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out. These first one passes, second one, and it's not actually. That's the frustrating. Not actually problem. Like I would, if I remove Chromium, just test Firefox. Let you in. Oh, oh, I'm wrong. I am wrong. Still think doesn't like. Okay. Browser. Firefox. fill. I'm not gonna. Goodness. All right, so officially the same thing now. Playwright as we did. So now that I've done both, we're actually test that I was Playwright and it was in Cypress. Cypress, they have that great GUI. I can kind of scroll back and in the timeline exactly failing. That's the other. Oh, my sound is breaking? Really? Okay. My noise, it shouldn't be breaking anymore, I don't think. Are we all good? We all good? We all Gucci? Is the sound breaking up still, or am I good? I believe it should be fixed. I think I was just speaking too quiet. I'm going to assume that it's all good. But yeah, okay. So my feelings about this so far is that Cypress is easier to see where and when your code is failing. I know that there's this little console error, and it did tell me that this was where it was failing. It did. But unfortunately, it wasn't failing. This wasn't actually the problem. See, it's telling me that it's failing on page wait for selector. But the problem was actually that it was not filling in this, it wasn't filling in one of the fields. And because it wasn't filling in one of the fields, the test was failing. The alert message would have been an error message instead of the success message. So if with Cypress, you would have seen that immediately because the browser window is up there the whole time. It doesn't close like as fast as it is humanly possible. I mean, you could, I suppose you could put a bunch of page waits in here while you're testing so that your window doesn't close all the time. Like you just say page wait. Is it page wait? No. What's it called? Page pause, I think it is. Like you could just put page pause all through here. Let's this is gonna be ridiculous. So then you run your test. It should pop up a browser. Oh, no. You have to do that headed, not headless. All right, and here we have it's all paused. Nope. Why didn't it stay paused? Because we aren't awaiting. The awaits are a little bit annoying too. Await. Await. Everything's an await. Await. Await page. Pause. Await page. Page. Pause. All right. Now. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove this one because I don't want two browsers popping up. All right, so Firefox opens and it's doing nothing yet because we're waiting for me to click play. So here's our little window. And I got to press play and it types in the name. I got to press play, it types in the email. I got to press play, types in the message. Press play to submit. But that, if I don't do it quick enough, that is going to go away. And then this one's going to fail. So, yeah. So that's not a good workflow. I guess you could just say pause at the very end. So you just put one await pause at the very end so that you can see what happened with your test. So your test will run. See? What happened there? Why didn't it fill that in? It didn't fill in two of my fields. Why? Why? See, that time it worked. Why does it say submit query? Is that what I put there? No. Why is it saying submit query? That's weird. That's weird. Let's test it again. We did it fine that time. The other strange thing, I guess, about it is that the only reason that I know that it has passed is this little check mark at the end. Otherwise, I don't know that it passed. It doesn't give me like a step-by-step pass. But maybe I just don't know how to use it well enough yet. That's entirely possible. Play, write, validate each step. Let browser page before we await Chromium's launch and after we close the browser for each page. Okay, there's still a lot that I need to learn about Playwright. Yep, I am only just barely just barely scratching the surface. One cool thing with Playwright is if you do learn it, you can actually use it with any language that you want. Well, not any language, but they have JavaScript, C Sharp, Python, and Java. So those are the 4 languages they currently support. And you can write your testing in any of those languages. That's kind of cool, you know? If you learn this one tool, you could use it in a lot of different projects. There's also, I did see this earlier. There's something called Code Sept Js, and it's basically a wrapper on top of Playwright, and it has, I would say the syntax is a little more similar to Cypress, which I kind of think is both a positive and a negative, because one of the reasons that people apparently like Playwright is that the syntax is much more like modern JavaScript style syntax, whereas Cypress is a lot more like jQuery. They kind of patterned it after jQuery, which jQuery, while it's great, it's not really. It doesn't. It just doesn't interact as how modern JavaScript does. So like if we look at this test, it just looks like JavaScript. It's got asyncs, it's got awaits, it's got this object that's been somewhat deconstructed. It just looks like regular JavaScript. So what do I think? I think I like Cypress better at a glance. Playwright though looks like something that if you really got used to it, that there would be no limit to what you could do. So it's the more complicated but the more flexible of the 2 options. Seeing as I'm just getting into automated testing, that probably makes Cypress the better of the 2 options. Yeah. One thing I do like with Playwright that I stumbled across is you can preserve the authenticated state. So with Cypress, if you want to test something, you actually have to make sure that your test logs in to your app. If you want to test anything that's in the logged in area of the application, whereas Playwright can save the authorization as a JSON storage object, and it can just it doesn't, it's just, it is always logged in, which is, you know, it's kind of nice, I guess. It has debugging tools, which apparently Cypress does not. Which, yeah, it is what it is, I guess. You can still use the JavaScript debugger, so I don't know that that's really a huge downside. Yep, there is a Playwright trace viewer as well. And from what the way I understand it, there is, so you can record a trace and then it'll like save it to an HTML file. Yeah, it saves a zip file. And then when you open it, you get like you get screenshots, and you can, I think you can also save it as HTML and like browse it like an HTML page. You can also use Playwright to test the API calls. Yeah, Playwright's just a very, very flexible tool. It's very flexible. But there are a couple things that I don't like. One, it's harder to see where you're at while you're writing the test. Much easier to do that in Cypress. Number two, it's more complex, so it's hard. It takes longer to get up and going. It'll take me longer to learn the ins and outs of this tool. Yeah, I guess that's about it. All right. Well, I think I've done all I'm going to do tonight. I'm gonna spend the rest of the time just kind of continuing to look over this documentation. But ultimately, I think my recommendation is going to be to stick with Cypress because it's just the easier tool to pick up and use. And there's already testing that's happening on the back end and on the API. So the only places that I need to be concerned about is the actual front end UI testing and making sure that that's working. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for anybody who did end up watching. It was kind of a boring stream tonight, but it was something I needed to do. I'm glad you stuck around and hung out with me. So thank you for that. Have a good one. Bye.